riled up if Cincinnati had been trying to re-sign Trey Hendrickson, but they weren't. So, like, Cincinnati has, I think they're the favorites in my eyes. They've done enough on defense. The offense is elite as long as Burrow stays healthy, which is an if. I get it, but these off years, sometimes he'll alternate between an injured year and a healthy one. I just feel like, you look at the schedules. I saw a stat, they're currently favored to win 15 of their 17 games. I think it's set up for Cincinnati, the only team in the division that didn't change head coaches, to ride that continuity and win the division.
I'm with you, Bengals. And your original continuity means something. Let's move to the West.
Yeah, it is a fascinating discussion about the Cincinnati Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens continuity. There's a ton of changes obviously with the Ravens. Will that help them? Will that hurt them? Cincinnati Bengals have the continuity. Does that help them? Does that hurt them? Obviously the health, all of that. But it is so interesting to me how we discuss a team like the Cincinnati Bengals. Like I have someone in the comments section who's very upset that I've been making Cincinnati Bengals content, and he's very upset and he's like, you're just making stuff up. You're just saying this because, you're trying to pander to the Cincinnati Bengals fan base. And it's like, you're right. You're absolutely right. I make Bengals content in hopes that Bengals fans will then watch the videos. I know. It's a crazy concept. It's a crazy concept that when I make a Cincinnati Bengals video, I hope that the Bengals fans will watch the video. I know. It's crazy. I'll tell you what I don't do is just say nothing but positives in hopes of being like, look, I'm the guy who cheerleads the Bengals or something. If that was the case, I'd make an individual channel for each team essentially. Like I would just be like, I'm the Bengals guy. I don't do that at all. And so when I speak really highly about the Bengals, when I'm really excited and believe that the Cincinnati Bengals are actually going to be a great team, when I spend a ton of time and put together all these stats, all these graphics, all these charts, and try to explain to you why Joe Burrow is so great, what he's been able to do, compare it to other quarterbacks, Mahomes, whatever. It's like I hope the Bengals fans take note of it and watch it and see the work that I'm putting in. Like it's really quite bizarre to me that I'm getting pushed back. And then when I talk about how they are favored to win 16 out of, 17 games or, whatever the heck it is, and I said, I'm going to do like a little bit of a victory lap. Because when I first looked at the schedule, I said, oh man, I got the Bengals in majority of these games. Like this schedule looks amazing. And so when I said doing a victory lap about that, I meant like victory lap as in like see like even Vegas agree like they're favored. Like see like we're along the same lines. But then again, other people were like you're doing a victory lap now. I'm not doing a victory lap saying that the Bengals just won the Super Bowl. Like I thought people could grasp that concept, could grasp what we're talking about here, but it's like the pushback on the discussion of the Bengals and believing that Joe Burrow could be great with this team and that this defense will be better. Like it's so bizarre. It really real. Why really is. Again I got news for you. The Lamar Jackson Baltimore Ravens fan base. Like, that is a loud, intense fan base that's ready to go. If I make any positive Bengals videos, like that hurts me with the Baltimore Ravens fans. I'm already hyper aware that I'm making a video now and a Baltimore Ravens fan is going to watch this and be like, what the heck? Why is he talking so positive about the Cincinnati Bengals? So, it's just like very recently people are having some very strong opinions, about very specific things that it's just kind of like I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, it's okay to be excited and optimistic about your team in the offseason. It's excited to feel great about the moves that your team made. Like it's okay to feel happy that Joe Burrow is your quarterback and that you've been through different iterations of this team really successful, that it's just injuries etc. And it's pretty exciting to think that like your defense should be better, that your quarterback will be healthy, and therefore this team could actually be great, and then you have a forgiving schedule that's not, extra harsh in a way that could really be death. Like, it's okay. Don't let anyone tell you that you're not allowed to feel those feelings. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to feel optimistic about all these teams right now. It's the off-season. It's Ma. Why, now is a time for optimism. If you want to spend the next 4 months and then go into the season and just be nothing but negative and just be, they're terrible. Falcons terrible. Bengals terrible. Browns terrible. Eagles terrible. Cowboy is terrible. Be my guest. Go do that. You go be that fan. You go be that fan. I rather look and see the changes that are made. Try to figure out if I agree with them or not. And if I am, then it's like, let's talk about them. And if I'm not, let's talk about it and then wait and see how the season unfolds to figure out what's what. But it's just like trying to back takes into a corner doesn't really make a whole lot of sense like at all. And so when we're looking at this division, the Bengals, the Ravens, mainly the Steelers, like listen, I don't know. I made a Cleveland Browns video recently and it's like I guess if Deshaun Watson just like says like I'm back, right? Like he has a moment where he's just like I'm back. I am the quarterback that you guys thought that I was years ago, then it's like, okay, that's probably unlikely to happen. But I'm optimistic. I'm open-minded. I'm open-minded to that happening. Probably not. I do think the Steelers are going to be better. I do think the Bengals are going to be better. And I do think the Ravens are going to be better. And I find that fascinating and wildly exciting. Wildly exciting. I think theoretically because of Lamar Jackson and that style play and because of the changes that they've made and because it feels like more of a guarantee that the Ravens' defense will be better than it has been since losing Mike Macdonald specifically. Like there's probably a higher degree of confidence, right? But if you had to pick which team would be the best in the AFC, there would be a higher degree of confidence. It's a safer play for the Baltimore Ravens. But in terms of the absolute ceiling and the confidence that like if a team can actually hit its ceiling, how great is that ceiling? It's to me the Cincinnati Bengals. It's the Cincinnati Bengals. And then again, the Pittsburgh Steelers are also the ultimate wild card because they got Mike McCarthy, Aaron Rodgers, final season. It's like again, I think they're going to be better. They also know got Pittman and how that's going to work with DK Metcalf, etc., etc. And again, I'm optimistic to see how that works. But like there's certainly a fragility to that team that even the Bengals are going to be less fragile than that, which is crazy to say considering what the Bengals have been. But there's no doubt a fragility there with the Pittsburgh Steelers with Aaron Rodgers and the final, his final season and his health and he's going to turn 43, like all that. So again, like I find we are in such an amazing part of the NFL right now. Like there are a handful of these divisions that like to me just seem so exit every single divi. Shown at this point, even divisions that we never even realized could be excited. The NFC South, it's just like I don't know, man. That's going to be really cool to see like how does that battle play out. The Baltimore Ravens is like I see such strong valid arguments why the Baltimore Ravens are going to be significantly better this year than they were last year. Same feeling with the Bengals. So, it's like who wins this division? How do those games match up? I have no idea, but I'm pretty confident. As long as everyone's healthy, it's going to be box office, man. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Even when the Bengals had a mess of a defense and a mess of an O-line, those Ravens-Bengals games were insane. Were absolutely insane. I did not enjoy watching the Bengals and the Ravens as much last year. It was not as fun. They had their moments, right? Even like Flacco had his moments and even in the game that fell apart like the Bills game was like fun and interesting, It was of course, that game was definitely wild, but like this is though going to be different. Like this should be just high-quality Clash of the Kings. Get after it. Let's go. Like that is exciting to me. So, no, I'm not going to twist things and just be like, no, Bengals, Joe Burrow, defense isn't good. He's injury-prone. I'll believe it when I see it. It's like, what even is that? Like, what's the point of even talking about sports if that's going to be the conversation? Nah, Joe Burrow's not staying healthy. He can't do anything without Jamar Chase. Nah, the O-line's trash. Taylor should be fired. That defense is going to be trash. It's like, okay, sure, I guess. And it's just like the reality is that more often than not, you're not going to win at all. More often than not, you know, especially the way how kind of this has been unfolding, I suppose I shouldn't say more often than not, but there's a great chance that you don't win the division, right? That you do fall short. And it's like, yeah, and that makes you feel that you're right. That makes you feel like, see, I told you. And it's like, I mean, I guess technically, you know, but okay, sure. And especially about a team like the Bengals. It's not like this is like a new team, new quarterback, new coaching staff where you're like, same old Bengals, like this is what they've been doing since 1977. Like, it's like, no, we saw what they did with Joe Burrow, Taylor, like we saw what they've done. We've seen the playoff games. We've seen the conference championship games. We've seen the Super Bowl. Like, we've seen that potential. We've seen that production. In a lot of ways, you should have more confidence about a team like the Bengals than you do the Ravens, the Bills, you know, I'm trying to think, the Steelers, of course, you know, the Bears, like the Bengals should perfectly encapsulate as long as they're healthy, this team will be great. As long as they're healthy, they'll be great. As long as they're healthy, they'll be like it should. Whereas we give too much benefit of the doubt to the Packers and Jordan Love and Kyler Murray and the Minnesota Vikings, like I think Kyler Murray is going to bring that team back to being a top team. It's like you're confident in that, but yet you have all the doubt in the world about the Cincinnati Bengals. Doesn't quite make sense. You have all the confidence in the world that Caleb Williams is going to be great next year and the Chicago Bears are going to be awesome and they're going to win the division and get to the Super Bowl, but you have all the doubt against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's like how does that make sense? It's like we've actually seen the Bengals do it. We've actually seen them do it. We've seen them achieve it multiple times. We've seen the greatness. We've seen the seasons and we've seen it with a handful of the most important key players there. It's not like you brought in a new coach. It's not like you brought in, you know, new weapons, etc. So, yeah, I get the injury. I get the immediate history, but like if you want to use history as a reference point, which I always kind of push against to minimize the use of history, you always got to use it as some sort of reference point, but it can't be the absolute foundation. I think that's probably a good way to look at it. It could be a reference point, not the foundation. And I think people use the history too much as a foundation. That's such a great way to put it. I got to remember that history should be a reference point, not the foundation. I got to write that down. But the problem is those people that want to use history as a foundation, they only want to use the history that they want to use. And again, the perfect example of this would be Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals. And they choose when they want to. What about the history of what this offense and what the team has looked for the Kansas City Chiefs? Doesn't matter. Look what they did in the years prior. It's like, okay, Cincinnati Bengals, they're not going to be good. Why? Because look at their history. Yeah, but what about before that? Doesn't matter. Look, what have they done since then? And it's like, wait, what? And like that's what you slip in with the Cincinnati Bengals big time. And not only that, you then get a downplaying and literally like an erasing of what this team has achieved and what they've been able to accomplish. Like they erase it completely. And it's actually kind of interesting because, you know, recently we've been having a couple conversations about like, why are we talking about this quarterback so much, not that quarterback? Why does Jalen Hurts get so much criticism or Lamar Jackson or this or that? And I went on a whole rant about popularity, this or that. And it's like Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals have effectively been said from the conversation. Is anyone really? I mean, listen, you're going to see those takes and I'll probably make videos about them, but like no one's really being like, how much pressure is Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals under right now to win some? How many people are talking about the Cincinnati Bengals Super Bowl window? It's like it's not a common talking point at all. It is a talking point for Josh Allen and the Bills. It is a talking point for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl and it's like talking point about how much pressure is Jalen Hurts under and Sirianni. It's like there's been an absolute eraser of Joe Burrow and this inside Bengals, and it's not even just like a popularity thing, because obviously a team like the Eagles is going to have more some more popularity, and considering Josh Allen and the Bills have been in the playoffs more recently, and whatnot, an MVP like you're going to feel that energy, but it's more than that to me. It's more than that. It's kind of like, well, we're moving on from the Bengals. We're moving on from Joe Burrow. We're not really going to waste any time because, and it's like, is there any pressure for Patrick Mahomes to bounce back because he's been declining? And again, we can say the Super Bowls and all of that, but it's like, is there he's come back from an injury? Yeah, I know. Isn't there pressure for him to show that he's fully healthy and didn't lose a step, right? Like, so the way we have these conversations I always find super interesting. And when you try to figure out why we're having certain conversations, sometimes you have to navigate through, well, this is just a popular topic. This is just a popular team. This is a popular quarterback, whatever it may be. And other times you have to figure out like, well, what is the actual conversation that's being had or not had? And the Cincinnati Bengals have been absolutely positively erased, and Joe Burrow including, they've been erased. And it's not just the market size and the chew and the views of what the Bengals and Bureau can bring. It's more than that. It's revisionist history. It's a combination of intense doubt and rejection that this team can be as great as they were. It's just like lack of trust that they'll be healthy. So, I'm looking forward to seeing all of these narratives change. I'm looking forward to seeing the conversations change, and I just believe that it's absolutely like, I just think that the Bengals are in the driver's seat of this. They are in the driver's seat. There's certain times that I look at a team and I'm like, well, listen, there's a lot of other things that are out of their control, like how good is this, how good is that other team? How good is this quarterback now in his second year? And I look at it through the lens of like, it's going to be interesting. Well, we got to see, cause there's plenty of things that the Eagles, it's like how good are the Commanders and the Cowboys, and even for the Bengals, it's like how good are the Steelers. Does Shader Sanders turn into a top 5 quarterback? Like that's out of the Bengals' control. Does Declan Doyle absolutely transform Lamar Jackson? Out of the Bengals' control. But this season there is a lot in the Bengals' control. And so either way, whichever way the ball drops, like I'm excited to see how it all unfolds and which direction it takes us, because either way they're in control, and that to me makes it a much more interesting conversation. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Cincinnati Bengals? Do you think that they're the best team in the AFC North? How do you feel about these conversations? I know recently we've definitely been getting a lot more hype about the Bengals and what they can do, but again, the conversations and the reaction to those conversations, again, from my viewpoint, have been very, 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 very interesting. So, let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.